Hey, you guys. Okay, so I want to talk to you about a couple of different methods of doing the maintenance work on shame. Okay, so we talked about removing the core trauma of shame. That's our step one. Step two is going to be implementation work. Okay, so doing diagnosis. Am I feeling shame again? Because it's not just because we remove the core trauma doesn't mean you're never going to feel this way again. And the fact is, if you have any sexual drama or trauma, shame is something that you're going to have to work more than anybody that hasn't experienced that in life. So shame really comes down to the feeling of not enoughness, the feeling of being blocked from pleasure or desire. You're not able to get more than enough, so you're not really able to engage with the pleasure of life, the beauty of life, being able to get more than just your needs met, being able to get out of survival mode and then having the land of more than enough. Okay, so the root of shame really is like feeling unwanted, feeling undesirable, rejected, discarded, or feeling like a desperate like need and seeking of approval from others, validation from others, or using sex as like a means of gaining approval from other people. And it really can turn into a self-abandonment situation. This is something that I've experienced firsthand, is feeling like needing an approval from somebody. So engaging in sexual situations, even if you weren't feeling in your body like it was something that you wanted to do, or there's some type of malalignment somatically in your body and energetically and in your mind. This is something I'm still working through actively, full disclosure. But there are two exercises that I want to talk you through in terms of dealing with shame and doing the maintenance work on shame. So anytime you're feeling that not enoughness or feeling like rejected or having a difficult time saying no or doing people pleasing behaviors or any type of, for me, it really comes up as numbing addictions or codependency. These are big, major symptoms of a block in the sacral chakra. Codependency being focusing way too much on other people and not on myself. Feeling like I can help somebody else, even if they're not asking for my help, even if they said no. Or numbing addictions, which for me in the past used to look like weed or alcohol. Now it looks more like spending money or doom scrolling, dissociation type of things like that. So first thing that you want to do, our first exercise is going to be about showing up for ourselves. Okay, so this exercise is really like, I want you to write down all the things that you told yourself that you were going to do, whether it's like write a book, whether it's get organized, whether it's clean your car, something simple like that. Little things, big things, everything in between. Set a boundary with your mom, maybe. Write a list of all the things that you said that you were going to do. Get really good at pottery. And then on one side of the paper, in the middle, I want you to write if you still want to do that thing. On the other side of the paper, write an action step that you can take towards that goal or that getting that thing done. If you don't want to do the thing anymore, just cross it off the list. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to do it anymore or not, but it's important to get it off the mental list of your mind, because anytime we make a commitment to ourselves or we say that we're going to do something and we don't follow through with it, it creates this shame voice in our head where we're like shaking that finger at ourselves in our head of like, remember you said you were going to do that? Remember you said you weren't going to talk to that ex anymore, and now you still are. Now you are rabidly waiting for them to Snapchat you. Things like that. Remember last year you said you were going to write a book and you haven't taken any action step toward that. Remember you said you were going to book that trip It's that voice of shame in your head, mocking you, incessantly upset with yourself or abandoning yourself, abandoning your goals. So, really, a step that we can take towards navigating this shame in a different way or engaging with it in a different way is creating an action plan in our life, taking, even if it's like little steps, or if you don't want to do the thing anymore, cross it off the list. And then you're, do like a little shame release ceremony where you're releasing yourself from the commitment if you really don't want to do it anymore. But we need to be able to develop this self-trust and this ability to set boundaries with ourselves and follow through with those boundaries. If we want to have more in life, we have to create systems to receive it. A system to receiving more love and more pleasure is going to be boundaries with ourselves, discipline with ourselves, being honest with ourselves. A system to receive more wealth and more abundance in life is going to be boundaries. Another thing, like boundaries and a budget. A budget is just like a financial plan. It's boundaries financially, basically. Boundaries with our time. How are we spending our time? People that are really abundant aren't lazy. They're just disciplined. They just have a plan and they follow through on the actions to that plan, and they have good boundaries. And so that's how they're able to hold a capacity for more wealth. It's not only an energetic alignment, but it's also a strategic, like you have to be acting in the 3D world too. So that's our first thing. Writing things down on a piece of paper, making the 3 separate columns. What did I say that I was going to do? Do I still want to do it? Action step if you do still want to do it. Okay? Because completing any goal or fulfilling any vision starts with one action step. So if you can just do one action step, even one action step a week, or it might be different based on your human design. I'm a projector, so I'm a very like one action step a week type of girly. If you're a manifesting generator or a generator, you have access to constant energy. I'm a projector. I need a lot of rest. I don't have access to constant energy. I don't have any defined energetic centers in my chart, so I need a lot of rest. But if you do have that access to constant energy, you could probably do it. You could probably do every day. You could take an action step. It just depends. Anyway, so that's our first exercise. The second one is going to be defining enough. So this is going to be really good, actually, and this is one that I need to do now because I'm having relationship issues again. But so we talked about the sacral being the block to that being like not ever able to get more than enough. So we need to define objectively what is enough. What is enough for you financially? What is enough for you in love and relationships? What is enough for you with your time? We need to define what enough is, what not enough is, and what more than enough is. And then we can start taking steps and making choices based on that more than enough. If we want to get more than enough, if we want to be able to fulfill our pleasures and our desires in life, we have to define what that is. And we have to start being and acting like somebody that wants more than enough and operating from a place of abundance, knowing that the universe is a place of infinite possibilities, infinite abundance. You can have anything that you want. You just have to be being that way. You just have to be taking action steps to fulfill that. And not only like in the 3D world, but vibrationally, energetically, and emotionally, feeling that way, feeling that worthiness, knowing that you're worthy of it. You've always been worthy of it. It's not a question of that, but it's a method of getting all of those things into alignment. Mentally, what you believe, energetically, emotionally, how you're feeling, and physically, what actions are you taking? Who are you being? Our thoughts create our reality, what we think, what we believe. A belief is just a thought you've thought many, many times, and now you believe that thought to be true. So our beliefs mentally, energetically, emotionally, how are we feeling? Do we feel that abundance? Do we feel that worthiness? Do we know that we're worthy? Do we know it on a core level? And then physically, are we making choices that are aligned with that? You know what I mean? If I wanted more than enough in a relationship and a partner presents themselves to me, but they're saying, I can't meet you where you're at, I'm not that person that is able to show up emotionally. I'm not somebody that wants emotional depth and connection and relationship. Then I have to choose physically in this space and say, is that something that's aligning with my goals? No, it's not. So I can't continue to engage in that relationship, at least not in a romantic sense. You know what I mean? If somebody says, this is what I've got, and it falls short of your non negotiable list, you have to move away from that then. You can't say, okay, well, I'm going to accept less than more than enough. I'm going to accept less than more than enough then, because I'm going to settle for breadcrumbs when I know that there's a feast. No. No. We're not doing that anymore. Okay? If we want more than enough, we have to be patient. We have to hold the vibration. We have to hold the belief. And we have to be being that way. We have to be acting from that. I know that there's more than enough, so I'm not going to accept breadcrumbs. So I'm not going to accept less than enough. I'm not going to use a person as a placeholder, even if I feel lonely or even if I feel like, because then you're communicating to the universe that you're okay with less. I want more than enough, but I'm okay accepting less. That's a malalignment in what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and then what you're accepting in the 3D. If you want more than enough, you have to have all of those things in alignment. Okay? Does that make sense? So those are our 2 exercises. To recap, we did the piece of paper, do I still want to do this, of showing up for ourselves and meeting our own goals. And do I still want to do this? Yes or no? Action step. The second one is defining what enough is. Is this enough? What is not enough? What is more than enough? How can I move towards more than enough? Am I acting in alignment with more than enough? A? A? So, if you have any questions, hit me at the Calendly link. Let's schedule something. Otherwise, I'll see you for the next episode. I love you.